What's up, guys? Expel here, and today I wanted to have a discussion with you guys. There comes a time where at some point you have to just voice your opinion about things going on that really need change, and today is going to be that change. As you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about Warzone and some of the problems that have been in Warzone since the very beginning. However, I will say this is not my normal type of video. If you're new around here, understand I do make really upbeat content. I make tip videos and things like that. I try and help you guys out. I try and just help you guys have a good day. But for just one video, I need your help. I need your help. I need you to take to Twitter. I need you to take to Facebook, take to Instagram, take to wherever you need to go. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know with a like and stuff like that on the video if you feel the same way that I feel about Warzone in the state that it's in right now, or if you feel at least the same about some of the things that I mentioned within this video. However, if you agree, if this is something you want to stay up to date with, if you want to just check out some of my other videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We just had 100,000 subscribers, and I think we can really push through to the next goal. Past that, if you ever want to, ask me any questions, you can feel free to follow me over on twitch.tv/IamXpel. I'm streaming every single weekday starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the month of August. And then if you want to, join my Discord, have a conversation over there. As always, links are in the description down below. You can also find friends over there. And then follow me over on Twitter to ask some questions on there as well. I think this is just a really good conversations piece. So let's go ahead and jump on into things. Over the course of Warzone being live, it's had a weird life cycle. And it's something that's kind of made me feel odd about the game itself. Ever since the beginning of Warzone, there's been some pretty massive issues. And I know that when the game released, it wasn't a beta mode, but it was like bad. It was like really bad. And Infinity Ward, Activision, they don't really care, it seems. And I know that on some level, this may put me in a situation to where, I'd love to be brought out and test out like some of the future games and things like that. But I'm such an honest person, and I've got this platform. I feel like I need to use it for good, to start some sort of movement to hopefully make the game better, make it more enjoyable for everybody else, and make this an easier and more fun pastime for everybody involved, especially, people that don't get to play that often, creators and stuff like that. I think that'll be very good. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the underlying issues that we saw, first of all, at the beginning of the game. When the game first came out, March 10th, we didn't really know what to expect, and we were met with a ton, and I mean a ton, of server issues. And I don't know if you remember, but this didn't get fixed for a good month and a half to 2 months. We were constantly with really high packet loss servers and things like that, and they didn't fix it. It seemed like nothing was really going on behind closed doors. But from our perspective, yeah, it was in the middle of the big part of the pandemic, let's just say that, so I don't get but the real issue is that they're so slow with a lot of the fixes that they have, and it affects the player base vastly. I mean, from the servers to hackers. By the way, hackers are a huge deal. I don't know how in the world they've went this long by just having people to ban hackers instead of installing an anti-cheat. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but whenever Valorant came out, there was a big discussion about the kernel level anti-cheat that they had within Valorant. Basically, what happens is whenever you cut on your computer, that'll start up, and that was the issue with Valorant. However, a ton of different games have the same anti-cheat kind of set up with kernel access, which is root access, the very deepest access into your PC. And it makes it to where it's 10 times easier to find hackers within any game that has an anti-cheat like this. The issue was that people were saying, oh, it's the root level access. It's starting when I'm not on the game and stuff like that. So they changed it to where it starts whenever the game starts up. That's all you have to do that. But the issue is that in the first quarter of Modern Warfare being out, they made $1 billion. $1 billion. That's insane. They are making billions of dollars. Last year, they literally got a tax cut. The government paid them for this. They laid off so many people in Activision and got a tax cut for it, and now are making billions of dollars. And it just kind of blows me away that it takes so long to fix some of these problems, or that they can't just throw money at these problems. And I wish that they would understand that we want the game to be good. We don't just want the game to be, yeah, I play that on the weekend. We want the game to be so good that we want to come back. We feel addicted to come back to the game. That's genuinely how we want it to be. And as someone that makes content on this game, I love it. I love the game. I love, you know, the map and the stuff like that, and the features that they've implemented, but I just want more. You know, things that have come from Call of Duties in the past, I feel like should already be in the game. You know, a private match for Warzone, things that we've seen in other games. I told everyone before the game ever came out, I was like, all they have to do to absolutely crush monetization is just have a constant store rolling with skins over and over and over, and it'll be easy. They get easy money, and they can work on the game in front of everybody and not have to worry about it. Like, the store will take care of itself, and they're all set. They just have a specific team on the characters. But what happens is they focus so much on this monetization, it seems, that they don't really care about the issues that are just underlying in the game to begin with. I don't know how many of you guys had to deal with this. I don't know how many of you guys are new to the game, but whenever the game came out and people started unlocking the Grau or the Graw, whatever you want to call it, it was pretty much, it was overpowered, but it was overpowered in a different way than the Bruin that we have now. The Bruin that we have now, it's overpowered based on fire rate, damage per second, damage range, which, by the way, yesterday we did get a patch for that, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But it was very, very different. And the Growl sat there and was overpowered for such an unbelievably long time without a patch that it just made us all feel dumb. It was like, why is this still in the game? How are we not updating weapons like on the day that we find out that it's broken? Like, genuinely broken. Like, it shouldn't be doing what it's doing right now. It's ruining every single game and stuff like that. It was used to replace the sniper rifle, which makes it a little bit different than the Bruin. But it was used for those long distance kills. And really the only thing that made it ridiculously overpowered is whenever you used it in a duos match or a trios or a quads match. In solos, it was like, yeah, I mean, you're going against somebody at a long distance with a Growl. Like, I have gameplays on my channel where I just beam people from a distance because it was so easy to control, and it was just really accurate at a distance. You know what I'm saying? So that was, you know, that was the issue with the Growl, and it took forever to get that fixed. And now we found ourselves in a situation with the Bruin that's exactly the same. So after a month of having issues with the Bruin, and I mean like huge issues, and while I'm appreciative that content creators have pointed this out, it still kind of, it hurts to have to deal with this every single game now, because as soon as a content creator points out that there's something broken, you'd figure it'd get fixed very quickly because they see that everybody's getting frustrated with it. But with the laziness, it seems, of Infinity Ward themselves, we're not fixing things the way that we should be fixing them. The Bruin also was broken for about a month before they decided to do anything about it. And we're going to get into the patch notes in just a minute about what they've done to the weapons to fix it. So patch note wise, you know, we had a few guns that were kind of broken. The Foul, the Bruin, and that's the guns that everybody's been running since, you know, a couple of class setup videos from like Nick Merckx and Swag and Sparrows and all these other guys. They made videos on it, and it's just been the most popular weapons. Now, personally, I've stayed away from it just because I want to have fun in the game, and I don't want to share a very, very ridiculously overpowered meta. I understand that I was a part of the Growl crowd or whatever you want to call it. But it was used as a sniper. I wasn't great at sniping, and that's what I used it for. I used it for that long distance, and I had a really close range weapon as well. I didn't use it to get instant kills up close and personal. You know, people are using the Foul as a shotgun. They're using the Bruin at a medium distance, and it's dropping people in less than a half a second. Like, that's the issue that we came to. So let's kind of talk about these patch notes. The Foul actually got a buff at a distance, which is kind of insane to me. It got a buff at a distance, which made it easier. It's like a 2-shot headshot at a distance now, and then it got a slight nerf up close, which wasn't for headshot. So it's still a 1-shot headshot up close, which, while that sounds like it should be good, it kind of shouldn't, because it's not a weapon that should be a 1-shot up close, in my personal opinion. I don't think it was a 1-shot in any other game, and it sure as heck shouldn't be one in a battle royale scenario where if you're up close, you shoot somebody once to the head, they're dead whenever the game's like 25 minutes long. That just kind of blows me away. But the Foul, it got knocked from a 2-shot to a 3-shot on the body at close distances, no matter what. Which, whenever you're spamming that click button, it doesn't make a huge difference unless you're on controller. So, to each their own on the foul. I personally, I'm still probably not going to use it. It's just how I am. But let's move on to the Bruin, and this is where things got a little bit weird. So the Bruin actually got a nerf at range, damage at range, which makes it sound like they were trying to fix it the same way that they were trying to fix the Growl. But in all reality, the issue with the Bruin was more about, in my personal opinion, the fire rate and the accuracy while shooting, right? So you can shoot super fast with the Bruin. It's got a very high damage per second, which is fine for it being an LMG. But the issue is it's so stupid accurate at that medium distance that there's no chance to fight it. So them adding in this patch note where they patched the Bruin and they made it better, they really didn't. They really didn't make it any better. The issue is that medium distance rather than the long distance. So that's just my personal opinion on the Bruin, but hopefully we can see something that actually makes a difference in this game. I'm not sure if we will, but along with that, they also buffed 2 LMGs, which is the Holger, which was already pretty powerful, by the way, and the M91, which kind of did need a little bit of a buff with the ADS and stuff like that. So I'm happy with the M91, but the Holger kind of didn't need it, in my personal opinion. And I expect that we're going to see a lot of class setups over the next, couple of weeks, talking about how overpowered they are, how they're the best gun in the game and stuff like that. It's just what happens every single time that there's an update. It's the easiest way for clicks. It's the easiest way for views. It's the easy way to get subscribers, which is why maybe every once in a while you see a class setup video on my channel, because I'm just trying to grow out here, guys. But the biggest issue that I've come to, not just the Bruin, not just, the foul, not just them buffing certain weapons or anything like that, it's the fact that there's been a texture glitch in the game since a week ago. Okay. And let me kind of talk about how this really is an issue. Now, I know that some people are just like, oh, it's a texture glitch and stuff like that, but I don't know what you guys know about things like epilepsy and things like that. But, flashing over and over and over can cause seizures. So whenever there's a texture glitch where if you start spectating someone, it flashes over and over and over, lights and things like that, they can literally be causing damage to a person's health. And they've not fixed this in over a week, when in reality, this is something that should be fixed pretty much instantly. If there is something that can directly affect someone's health, that's not okay, man. Like, I don't know how we've gotten to the point to where it seems like it's okay to damage people's health because you don't want to patch the game, because you want to wait that week time, that 2-week time, whatever it may be. It blows me away. And especially in something like that, it genuinely just upsets me so much. And it hurts my stomach to think how truly messed up it is that they're lazy enough to allow that. It's super, super wrong. And I really, really hope that, and I don't mean this maliciously, I want something to happen where they are forced to fix this. They are forced, not just the texture glitches, but being on top of the things that are going on in the game, instead of just waiting a month or 2 months or whatever it is to fix the small issues, because there's still issues in the game that have not been patched the whole time. Things like the Superman jump, where you'll jump and then it'll pull out your chute halfway and you'll like fly like 30 feet or something like that. That's kind of crazy. It'll there's little glitches that have been in the game since the very beginning and they've still not fixed. And it makes me feel like we're getting into Blackout version 2 with things like the water glitch, where you could hear someone coming from a distance because it sounded like they were swimming even though they were on land. I really want something good to come out of this game. And with the lack of content that we've seen, by the way, which blows me away. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I love the content that you're putting in, and there's supposed to be a happy medium, but let's kind of take a look at what we were expecting to happen in Warzone rather than what really happened. We thought that the dam was going to explode, and we were getting excited about that, and it was like, oh, maybe they blow up all of downtown and stuff like that, and we get new parts of the map, things start changing a little bit. But let me tell you what really happened. Instead of these big in-game events, they added in new characters, they added in like a 10-second storyline, and they've started advertising for the next Call of Duty game, which sounds fine. I get the Call of Duty game thing. You have to advertise your game, but there's an issue. You are still on this game. You're supposed to be providing content for the free-to-play game that should be treated like Call of Duty Mobile, where it gets constant support. But it's not. It's not getting constant support. All they did was add in a train, which the train tracks were already there on the map, which they only changed like 2 things around the map to fix this, to make it to where they could add in the train. They opened up 2 areas of the map that were already implemented, which should have already had these things in the map, by the way. The stadium got opened. It was just a big closed area for the last, I don't know, 5 months, which is mind-boggling. I don't know how it took till season 5 to change that. It just blows me away. And then they opened up train station, which I seriously don't even find myself going in there too often unless it's in solos, which still I don't find myself going in there often. It's a very, very small part of the map. I like that they added in grapples and the small changes that they added in, but it just feels lazy. Everything about Warzone so far feels lazy, and what I want out of them is to just give us weekly updates no matter what. I'm not saying that, you know, you have to you have to wait to fix all these problems. I mean, no matter what, give us some sort of weekly update. I'm not saying just a patch. I'm not saying just a playlist update. I'm saying you genuinely change things within the game to make it better. If there's a gun that's overpowered, this should be fixed within days. I mean, literally 1 to 2 days. In Blackout, we saw that there was a gun that was ridiculously overpowered. They patched it within hours. So for them to pretend like it's going to take forever to make the weapons balanced, which they're never going to be, especially with the way that things are set up. If they're going to pretend like it's going to take all this time to make everything balanced, it doesn't make sense for them to do that when we've seen them do it in previous games and then fix it 100% easy. So I feel like they've set up a game plan, and this is just what it looks like from my perspective. They've set up a game plan for the game, and they're following so strictly that they're scared to even update things in the game because they don't want to mess with their monetization. And I think what they don't realize is that we'd love the game a lot more if you'd actually care for the game, if you'd actually put in the work to make the game better. The Bruin should have been fixed a long time ago. The Grouse should have been fixed pretty much immediately. A stinking anti-cheat should have been put in literally when the game came out. I don't know how this has been an issue for so long. I have gained hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views just on hacker videos of me spectating hackers, of me speaking with hackers and things like that in the game. I understand they're not hackers, they're cheaters, they're script kiddies and things like that. This is the widely known term, which is why I mention it. But it is an issue. It is an issue that they haven't put in an anti-cheat and they're just banning everyone by hand. I know that they didn't start by hardware banning, by the way. They implemented something where they use phone numbers, which by the way can be bypassed very, very easily. And I'm happy that I've seen less cheaters as the game goes on. And especially within the last, 2 weeks, I've seen so few cheaters. And it makes me really happy, but this isn't something that should have taken 5 months. And thinking about the fact that it took 5 months kind of blows me away a little bit. But last but not least, this is something that's a little bit controversial, but I'm going to explain myself on it and explain that I don't really care about it, but it's also something that possibly could make the game a little bit better. Or maybe not, it's my opinion, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments without being hateful, because for some reason, whenever we talk about this, people get very, very hateful. The last thing I'd like to talk about is skill-based matchmaking. Now, whenever the game was going to be released, a lot of people went to play it out. A lot of these people went to try it and they played it a little bit. And one of the questions that they asked the developers, they were like, hey, is this game going to have skill-based matchmaking? And straight up, Infinity Ward was like, no, there will be no skill-based matchmaking. 100% no skill-based matchmaking. And when the game came out, it was very obvious that skill-based matchmaking was added in. So whenever we saw that, it was a little bit upsetting because, first of all, it was very strict when the game first came out. And I mean, unbelievably strict. It's obviously got a little bit looser as time goes on, and some of you guys may realize that. Some of you guys may not. It's definitely a little bit looser. I think certain game modes do not have skill-based matchmaking, something like Stimulus Solos, Buyback Solos, for those of you that are very, very new. But in all reality, I think personally there should be a competitive playlist and there should be a a public playlist. There should be two separate playlists to have this set up. There's no reason for them to say they don't have enough money for the servers, because we know how much money they're making. It shows every single quarter. We know there's a conversation about it every quarter. So for them to pretend like they're not making enough money to get better servers, to get servers fixed and things like that, it's not true. It's simply not true. And I think that they know that they can do it. Regardless, past all the servers, the reason that I feel this is that skill-based matchmaking is set to put you in with your tier level, which seems fine, but back in the day, that's not how we did things. And I'm not trying to live in the past. I'm absolutely not like that. I hate living in the past. But to some extent, not having skill-based matchmaking can make the game more fun. But also having the choice to have that skill-based matchmaking makes the game 10 times more fun. Look, for example, a lot of other games have done these competitive ranked playlists versus regular, public matches, where there's basically no skill-based matchmaking in public, and then competitive, you'll get a rank. We know what kind of player you are. You're a top tier player. You hop in there and you do it for crazy gameplays and things like that, where you're going against these best players in intense matches. And that's great. That'd be fantastic. And I think it'd be really, really good for videos. But for those of us that are, content creators, or we're just trying to find somebody to play with, you often don't find people that have microphones because like skill-based matchmaking. Back in the day, you find a lot of people just trying to have fun, low KDs and things like that. They'll have microphones. It'll be fun to play with them. It's easy to get content out of that. And it's easy. I would say a lot of the people that play this game watch videos on YouTube, whether it's, how to get better, or, funny moments or things like that. They're probably watching videos on YouTube, which is why they know that they can't turn off crossplay with PC, by the way. I'll explain that in just a second. This is going to be the last thing that I talk about after the skill-based matchmaking. But skill-based matchmaking, if they were to implement it within, or take it out really within the game, or add in a ranked playlist and add in a public playlist, let me kind of explain how it would actually work. A lot of people think that all the newbies, or the people with 1 KDs or 1.2 KDs or 0.7 KDs, everybody's going to be going against the best in the game. But without skill-based matchmaking, that's not how it works. There is a top 1%. 1% of the people in this game have like a 2 KD. Probably less than that, to be honest. So whenever people think, oh, I'm going to have to go against the best in the game, it's not really how it works. What ends up happening is 99% of the players you're going to get in your lobby are not going to be the best in the game. It's going to be based on where you are and the people like that that are around you. So you don't have to really worry about whether or not you're going against the best players in the game. It's just going to be random players. So when people comment on my videos, whenever I mention skill-based matchmaking, they're like, oh, skill-based matchmaking is the only reason I play this game. It's not. It's really, really not. You enjoy the game. Skill-based matchmaking isn't helping you. It's not making you a better player. It's not giving you a safe space or anything like that. It's absolutely not making you a better player, because the only way that people are getting better because of skill-based matchmaking is by camping. And they're not getting better. They're just camping and waiting out and waiting for people to pass by. Getting better means that you're pushing for gunfights, you're learning to use weapons, and you're learning the game a little bit more than you did before. And camping doesn't allow you to do that. So that's the big issue with all that. So skill-based matchmaking, I think, can be in the game. I don't have an issue with it being in the game, but I feel that the game could be better if they decided to, instead of doing all games or skill-based matchmaking lobbies, they do a competitive playlist and they do a regular playlist. That would be 10 times better. Like I said, the last thing I really wanted to talk about was crossplay. And a lot of people do have issues with crossplay constantly being enabled, or the option that only PlayStation can disable. But let me kind of explain why they will probably never disable or allow disabling crossplay, or disable in general crossplay against PC. And a lot of people had this issue to begin with, because they're like, oh, PC is ridiculously overpowered because they can have so many frames and FOV and all this other stuff. They're on a mouse and keyboard, so their aim's better. 99% of the time, you're not going to get mouse and keyboard players. Just to be 100% clear, it's not going to make a huge difference. 99% of the time, you're not going against players that are on PC. Because the vast majority of free-to-use players are going to be on PlayStation and Xbox. Past that, it's a lot less likely that you're to run into hackers at a lower KD. I'm not judging you. For some reason, anytime I mention this, people think I'm judging you. Yes, whenever they first start, they get into lower KD lobbies, or just a random tier lobby when they're at a 0.00 KD. However, what happens is, after that first match, a single match, they are forced into actually going into a higher skill-based matchmaking category. So you're much less likely to run into these people no matter what, because you get 1 game. Anybody above your KD gets about 20 games. That's the difference. And I'm only saying this to the people that have like a 1 KD or something that's on the you know, the regular KD area. Like 1 KD is probably about average, 1.2, somewhere around there is probably about the average of the population. So you don't really have to worry about things like that. But whenever it comes to everything else, the reason that they can't really get rid of crossplay is because of content creators. If they were to cut off crossplay between, you know, PlayStation and PC, they lose their content creators because they lose their audience. Having a PC audience is a very, very big deal because most people that are making videos are on PC, and it's because it's the better way to record. It's going to be a little bit prettier because you can get that higher quality and things like that. And I know that these are things that you want as a PlayStation or an Xbox user. However, this is kind of what you sign up for when you get an Xbox or a PlayStation. I'm not saying that in any judgmental way whatsoever. Just understand that that's how it is. There's not really anything you can change about that unless you're going to get a PC yourself. But if you were to cut off the PC from everybody else, you lose your content creators, right? That's what we just said. But losing your content creators is a lot bigger than you realize. Everybody's like, oh, the game would keep going and stuff like that. If you lose all of the big names that are playing this game, they are influencers, not just content creators, not just streamers. They are influencers. They move to other games, everyone follows. As soon as this loses its presence online, as soon as it loses people like viewing other people playing the game, it becomes uninteresting. The same thing has happened with tons of different games. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at games like PUBG and H1Z1. As soon as the next big game came out and the content creators moved over, that was it. GG. No more people on there. So you have to keep in mind that the reason that there's never going to be an option to completely cut out crossplay with PC or them just doing it for you is because they'll lose that audience. So just understand that's why. And that's at least the way I'll always see it whenever it comes to killing off the PC audience or anything like that. It's just not worth it on Activision's side of things, and it's kind of dumb to do that if you're looking at it from a business perspective. Regardless, that's pretty much everything that I had for the video. I know this is a really long video, but it's something that I had to get off my chest because it's been killing me lately. It really has been killing me lately, and I wanted to get it out there, and I wanted you guys to at least hear it. And give me your opinion on it in the comments down below. I want to know what you thought about this. I tried to be, you know, as proper as I could with the things that I was saying. I tried to explain it without being upset about anything because, you know, at times I can get upset about some of the issues that there are in this game. But at the end of the day, for me, yes, it's my job, which is why I get a little bit more upset because it's like, this is how I make my money. This is how I pay the bills. This is how I take care of the people in my life. But at the end of the day, for most of you guys, it's just a game. So I know a lot of you guys would be fine if you never played the game again, but I love it. I love the game. I love doing this as a job, but the small things that add up over time really frustrate me to the point to where some days I just don't want to play it. And it's kind of sad to me because I love talking to you guys. I love streaming and I love making videos on something that I enjoy, but some days I just don't enjoy it. So I want to know what you think in the comments down below. Please leave a comment about what you think. Drop the video a like if you agreed with some of the things that I said. If you didn't agree, I'd love to know in the comment down below why you didn't agree with some things. And then subscribe if you are new around here. I promise the content is 10 times better than this on the daily. Hope you enjoyed the background gameplay. It was one of the best gameplays I've had in a while. And last but not least, I just hope you have a fantastic day. You can follow me over on Twitch. You can join my Discord. You can follow my Twitter. It's all linked down below. Twitch.tv/IamExpel is a really, really important one. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.